Alright, so here's an overview of the tractor. I'm just going to pull the dipstick here to show you the oil. One of the things I find is that when you go to check the dipstick, as soon as you pull it up, there's always a lot of oil on here. This could be one of the reasons why it seems like it might use oil. If you can see this here, see where the mark is, like way up here, right here. That's where the oil level shows, whereas down here, but if you wipe it, then it'll show you the appropriate level. And since I check this all the time, this could be why it looks like it uses oil, is that I'm actually wiping off quite a bit of oil each time I check the oil. So if I put this back in, back out. So there you can see an oil level just down a bit there. So if I top this up, but you keep wiping off the oil there, the motor doesn't take a whole lot of oil, but it's nice clean oil anyways. So now bring you a little closer to see more stuff here. So this battery here is new, so it's got lots of charge to it. And alright, so I'll fire it up. And I'll put you on the view side here, seeing the exhaust. And, it'll do a little puff of black usually from when it first starts from the choke, but then it smooths right out after that. Before I rev it up. I'm just going to back it out so I don't gas myself out in here. Engage the mower for you. brakes here. So this is the forward is the lower, and then back is the up. So now I'll put it back on the tripod so you can see a little easier too. Shut it off and then I'll start it back again so you can see how it starts when it's warmer. Now another thing I want to show you is how to get this thing to move. Nobody will be able to steal this mower from you. So I'm going to show you the parts here. So this here is your brake. So when it's up and over to the right, it's supposed to be off. However, actually I'm going to bring you in close so you can see this. When I think I just selected there. So if I go to push this brake, you'll notice that this will click back in. So I'm just about to push the brake here. So that snaps back in. Now for whatever reason this is supposed to stay out, so if you don't pull this back out once you've pushed the brake, or while you're pushing the brake, you can only get this thing to do about 1 mile an hour or so. So I'll show you what I mean. So if I put my foot onto the brake, which you have to do in order to start it, which is what always clicks this thing back in. Now if I take, I'm going to make sure you can see this here, I'm just going to pull out a little bit and up. Now I let my foot off the brake, now I let go and it stays in position there. But when I push the brake again, it clicks back in. So that's one of the things you always want to make sure whenever you start this thing, you always want to take and pull that out and pull it up, and you're good to go. Hydrostatic, so forward and reverse. I think this is lights, and then you got your engage for your PTO, so this will engage either your mower, your snow blower, or your rototiller, and then obviously your throttle right here. This lever down here is your choke, so I'll just pull it out for full choke when you go to start it, but as soon as you start it, I'll push it about halfway in and just pick up the revs just a little bit, and then push it the rest of the way in, and then it should be good, and then I let it warm up for a bit until I rev it up the rest of the way. And then of course this is your lever here, so this will take and raise or lower your mower, your snowblower, or your rototiller as well. So now when you go to take and hook on the snowblower, I think I actually have a video for this which I can send you on how to do all this too. I always do that just so I remember, but I believe this guy actually comes off. This is only for I think it's for the rototiller and the mower. Yeah, also for the rototiller, but not for the snowblower. So these here, this is your snowblower is going to be hydraulically powered. So that just runs off the hydraulic system there. So when you flip on that PTO switch, then that just turns on your snowblower there, and then you just lift it up and down with this lever here. Now with the snowblower, there's also a lever that comes off to the side, and that's what this plate is here for. So this lever comes out, and then you just take and you turn it to the left or you turn it to the right to move your auger or your chute, I guess, whichever direction you want to blow that to. So that's that part. I think I'll probably take you over. Actually, I'll let you see what it looks like when it was driving. Get you on level ground here. There. Alright, so I'm just going to go over to the barn here, turn this off right now. One other thing I wanted to show was this hose here. This is how you tell if your hydraulic fluid there, and it's just supposed to be within the sight glass here. So that's all set up and good to go. Oh, and the fuel cap was older, so I just took and I found out where full and empty was, and I just marked them with a black marker, and I polished it up with a headlight polishing compound, so now you can still see the needle as to where the fuel level is too. And I of course disabled that switch because I find it quite annoying, so I just put tape over top, and if you want it to still work, then you can take your just take the tape off and it'll function like it's supposed to. It would be nice if the tractor stayed on without the motor running, but I believe it shuts off for both. Whereas the different tractor, the Husqvarna that we just bought, the little zero turn guy, that one it only disables if the mower's still on, which is kind of nice. So I don't touch that one. Alright, so this is the rototiller here. So this hooks on, of course, to the back of the tractor. This guy runs right underneath the tiller and hooks up to that mule drive in the front there. And I do have a video on how all this stuff hooks up, so that you can refer back to that anytime you're going to hook this guy up. It's got its own hydraulic reservoir there and filter, and then this is the back piece here just for protecting the dirt from kicking out on this side right here. This is the snowblower. I bought this one separate from the tractor. The rototiller and mower and tractor itself was my grandparents'. This one I bought separate, and this one here, it's actually, you're getting a pretty good deal on this one, because all this shaft and everything in here is all new. Because I can't show you anymore because it was patched up, but you can see kind of, try to get over to this side here. There's shear bolts right here, this guy here, and anyways, this ended up going on this thing on the owner previous, so instead of buying this $1 something bolt, they drilled a hole through the center of this, through the shaft, and made this little knurled bolt that went in there to keep the auger spinning. And anyways, that got old and rusted and broke, so I had that all replaced, so you get all new parts. So I mean, the outer housing there, you're not going to have a problem with this, and the auger here, this thing works fantastic. And I also replaced the cable on this here, just the other one was getting kind of old and frayed there. And this is the bar I was telling you about. It hooks into that black bracket on the right hand side of the tractor. So this here bolts into that bracket, and this here is the handle, so you take and you twist this to move the auger whichever direction you want it to go. And this actually hooks up pretty easy. So this just bolts right onto the front where the mule drive is, and then you got your two hydraulic hoses here which hook over onto this side, which is kind of nice because John Deere doesn't sell these anymore. And so in order for another company to make it, they had to get around the patent, which was the easy part in bolting this on. So I guess it's like a 2-hour job, I've heard, to put on the other snow blowers, whereas this one bolts up pretty quick and easy for you. Yeah, I think that's about everything on those. Anything else? No, I think that's everything. All right.